So hello, welcome back to just another chit chat video. We're just gonna kind of kick back and talk about all sorts of things because why not? As you can see from the lampshade behind me, it is the beginning of spooky season, and I think I'm going to try to decorate this behind me for Halloween. And to that end, when I was at the dollar store, I got a Halloween garland. I think it's kind of cute. It's black and orange with dumb little pumpkins. I figure we'll put it in and it'll probably make the lights look spooky somewhere. And I've seen it recently, so I know it's around here somewhere. I have little bat lights that I would like to do. And I don't know if I can make it Halloweeny, but I've been, when I'm out on my walks, collecting pine cones. And I was thinking maybe I could make them into a ghost, but I can't really figure out how. Or maybe like little jack-o'-lanterns. It would be kind of cute. I painted one earlier, and I don't know. To me, it looks a little more like a Christmas tree, no matter how I turn it. But I might be able to figure out how to turn it into a ghost. I don't know. I've been collecting the pine cones because they're cute. I actually also am planning on sending some off to some YouTube friends of mine who are much better at figuring out crafts than me. That's Smokey Steve and Mark, fantastic YouTubers. Mark is so good at coming up with crafts. He makes so many cute things, and it's so funny because he's always talking about how he's not like artistic at all. And then he comes up with these gorgeous crafts, and I'm like, that's talent because I don't think I would have thought of doing any of these things. I think last week he made like little garden kitty cats, like spooky little kitty cats out of scrap wood. And I was like, wow, that's very cool. I feel like everything around their house must always just look so cute, which I'm jealous of. Everything around my house always looks like a 20-year-old college student lives here who never learned how to clean. I'm not saying like my house isn't dirty, it's just always messy. And I've started to accept the fact that I'm 52 at this point. I don't think I'm ever going to learn how to have like a house beautiful house. It just never works. I'm really always very envious of, not envious per se, but my neighbor is the most organized person I know, and everything in her house is always perfect. Everything in the little cabin that she owns next door that she keeps for like guests and stuff, always perfect, always looks not like house beautiful decorated, but just so nice. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit jealous. My house is always full of stuff. It's stuff that I like and it's stuff that has meaning to me, but it's never going to look neat, clean, and spick and span. I guess that's just not my thing. But yeah, I've been collecting pine cones, including, and these are the cutest things that I I think in existence, honestly. And I showed this on my live stream last week because we were just talking about dumb things that I like. So this is a small but regular pine cone. Comes off, I think, a white pine tree, or this one might be a red pine, but your common garden variety pine cone. If you were watching my videos this week, I went out and I've been walking amongst the hemlocks, and hemlocks are some of my favorite trees up here. Not only because they're big and tall and they block out the light so there's no understory under them, but also because they make the cutest pine cones. It's amazing to me that a tree so big can make these tiny little pine cones. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with them yet, although I do somewhere have a very cute pair of earrings that I bought that are actually pine cone, hemlock pine cones that were gold plated and then put on little earring hooks. And I was like, that's so incredibly cute. I don't know that I'm up to jewelry making, but you never know. Maybe I'll pick up a new hobby. I've also been thinking about doing a little bit of some kind of wood crafting. I was eyeballing my wood burner again recently and looking at my paints again. I'm trying to get inspired to get back into art. I wish that I was better at just being able to do it. But when I sit down and try and draw and paint and I'm not in an artsy mood, it just never works out. But I've been having a lot of fun. The other thing that I was talking about in my live stream, and you might have seen if you follow me on Instagram, I had to go back out. I was out on a walk last week and I came across this rock. And I have a long history of picking up cool, at least cool to me, rocks. And this one called my name. I don't think I've ever seen a rock like this. I think it looks spooky. There we go. It kind of looks like it has a dumb little face on it. My oldest son says that it kind of reminds him of the masks from the game Hollow Knight, which I've never played. I looked it up. I can kind of see it. I thought at first that it looked like a little ghost. And then I looked at it closer and I was like, no, that's a dumb little face. And I took a picture of it and I walked home. And then later on, I kind of regretted not getting it. So when I was out walking again, I decided I was going to look for it, fully expecting it not to be there because, of course, things like that, usually you have to grab as soon as you see, especially a rock that's just out in the middle of nowhere where people could drive over it. But it was still there. So I figure it was meant to be, and little spooky rock definitely was meant to be mine. I don't know exactly how I'm going to make him stand up. I might need to get a little stand for him so he can just stand up back here and be a part of the channel. Spooky Rock. I love Spooky Rock. We'll put Spooky Rock up here. He can stand here by Anne McCaffrey and everybody else and just kind of watch over me. I love Spooky Rock. And that got me thinking about other cool rocks that I've seen. I am so easy to please. Give me critters, I'm happy. Give me rocks, and I'm thrilled. I mean, and I love like these, like the tumbled rocks. This is just a tiger eye. I love my opals because they're gorgeous, but those are rocks you have to buy. I like rocks that I just find out on the road. This one, for the longest time, I was convinced must be some sort of an artifact. It's not. It's just naturally hollowed out by probably water action, but it's still very cool. And I like to put little things, usually other rocks, in it. It's dumb, but it makes me happy, and it cost me absolutely nothing because I found it in a riverbed. Another fun little stupid rock that I found when I was living in Tennessee is this one. So, you see it? Just a boring rock. I was walking through the field that I had on my property, and I kicked it, and when I did, it flipped over, and it's not actually a rock. It's slag from probably a refinery or something. You know, they would refine different materials and heat. So it's probably technically, I think slag is like a glass, but it's still very cool. I like dumb things like that. I need to learn to like put them together in a way that is like cohesive. But yeah, that's kind of been my life. Also been my life lately. I also found this out in my garage. I haven't decided what I want to do with it, but I think if I smooth it and maybe do some wood burning and figure out what it looks like, to me it almost looks like the Upper Peninsula if I squint really hard. I don't know. But I was like, I should do something with this over the winter. I'm trying to start thinking of like winter projects because even though it's been very, very hot for the last week, it does not seem at all like fall. I know that fall is coming and then winter is coming and the days grow much longer. I'm hoping that I can pick up a pair of hiking snowshoes and a good pair of boots so I can keep going for walks and keep taking you guys out for snowy walks. But there will be days when it's just too cold to do that, so I'm trying to come up with some wintertime projects. If you have any suggestions for fun wintertime projects that don't include yarn, because unlike so many of you, I am not talented. I can't crochet and I can't knit at all, but I can do other dumb crafts. But if you have any suggestions for wintertime projects, let me know. Other projects that you probably are interested in an update on, if you've been watching, my wintergreen extract is coming along nicely. It's been down there for what, about 3 or 4 weeks now. I shake it up whenever I go down there, and I went downstairs and I opened it and sniffed it, and it smells very wintergreeny. So I might not have to do a double extract on it, which is kind of cool. I was hoping that it would have the pink color that you see from so many wintergreen flavored things. And I think I know how to do that for the next extract I make, which I will make after this. I think if I use more of the berries, it might have kind of a reddish or pinkish tinge to it, which I think would make it very cool. But yeah, this was just a dumb little chit-chat video in case you guys were just felt like listening to me for however long I keep babbling. Also, little channel update. We are almost done with my recap of the last of the Tamora Pierce books. And then we're going to be moving into, I will be reading one of the public domain books. I'm going to show you the choices, and then probably next week, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday, I will put up a poll on my community tab so we can vote. The only reason I'm not going to do a poll like today is I might get into town before I'm ready to put up the poll, and if I find another one that I am sure is safe to read out loud on the channel, then I want to have that. But our choices thus far are Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. This one kind of interests me because another character in a series that I read several times from Anne Rice's books, The Witching Hour, always talks about Great Expectations and architecture, which are two things that I'm into. So that one piqued my curiosity. The other choice, also by Charles Dickens, is A Tale of Two Cities, which I'm pretty sure I read in middle school, but I don't really remember. Like, I remember that the one I read in middle school was about two people that looked the same or were like twins separated or something, might not even have been Charles Dickens. This might be my wires getting crossed and me just not knowing what I'm thinking about. Um, the other book that I have that is safe for reading from everything that I have looked up is The Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. This one is really good to me because it's very old. Hopefully, if I read it, it won't fall apart on me because this is a very, very old book. There isn't even a publishing date in this one, but I did look it up, and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is old enough to be safe and in the public domain. And the final one, which is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I'm kind of interested in it, although at the same time, I have to shamefacedly admit that not only have I never read Pride and Prejudice, I've never seen any of the movie adaptations. So pretty much anything that I read here, with possibly the exception of A Tale of Two Cities, will be me reading them for the very first time. So that would be kind of fun. I will have very few expectations going into them, and we can just discover, well, you might have already read them. I haven't. I can discover them, and you can enjoy the journey as we read through them. But that's about it. I just felt like doing a little chit-chat video and show off some of my dumb little treasures that I've found while out walking. Please do leave a thumbs up. It does really, I think it helps engagement. I'm not that worried about that, but it does bring a smile to my face. If you're not subscribed already and you're interested in any of the public domain books that we will be jumping into reading, hit the subscribe button. It is free, and I will see you guys next time.